Growing vegetables for your hungry and growing family can be difficult at the best of times, but growing them in the scorching heat of summer is another thing entirely. Join me today as I talk about the 6 top vegetables to grow in your garden that'll give you the most abundance and that are the easiest to grow. So welcome back to another video of Bola's Backyard. Now, as I said, the top 2 factors that I want to touch on today is how easy they are to grow and how many of the vegetables do you get per plant that you have, because they're probably the most important things that I think about when putting the plants in the garden. The other things I do want to talk about is a lot of the information that I saw about the top vegetables to plant through summer is they're a little bit obscure, like plants that you've never heard before. So I want to focus on plants that we all know, that we all love, because at the end of the day, I've got to feed 2 young children, a toddler, and so I want them to be able to eat it as well. So all of the vegetables you're about to hear today are also vegetables that are well known, very versatile. You know how to cook them. Everyone knows how to cook them, and the kids will eat them as well. So let's get into it and go look at vegetable number 1. So I'm going to start off strong with vegetable number 1. And no, I'm not talking about the overgrown and dead dill plants or the weeds all over the ground. I'm talking about what was here. In the previous video, I harvested all of the corn. Now, corn is vegetable number 1 and arguably my family's favorite. It's so easy to grow. My children love it. It's so easy to be self-sufficient and store the seeds for the next season. So it's definitely number 1 on this list. Not that the numbers are ordered in any way, but I love corn. So whenever you're growing corn, you want to plant it at the start of spring as the soil starts to warm up. So you want to plant them in big bunches so the pollen on the top can fall down, get onto pollinate each of the silks and make sure the kernels all form. So if you plant them too sparse or in a row, then the pollen won't fall onto the silks enough and it won't be able to pollinate them completely. So plant them in big bunches as the soil starts to warm up. I don't get many pests here. Actually, I don't get any that I have to spray for or treat at all. If any of you guys get any pests for your corn, leave them down in the comment below. But yeah, here, no pests at all. So they're so abundant. They're so easy to grow, so easy to eat. And my kids love them. And then they're so easy to be self-sufficient. You just let them dry on the plant, let them dry in the shed, and one cob can have enough kernels to last you 2 more years. So corn, definitely number 1 on the list. So number 2 on this list is eggplant. Eggplant, my children love it. We put it in spaghettis, we put it in lasagnas and all that sort of stuff. So it's extremely versatile as a vegetable as well and really easy to grow through the summer. These plants actually are infested with 28 spot lady beetle. See if I can get one for you. Now they obviously look very similar to a lady beetle, a little bit more brown in color, and obviously have 28 spots. So they eat your plants, unlike the good lady beetles that eat other insects. So that's probably the only pest that I have to spray for or have to treat, on the eggplants. But they grow so many vegetables. They're so versatile. Now, I haven't saved any seeds yet, but I will be this year, and I'll take you along for the ride. So we'll see how easy it is to let an eggplant grow, get the seeds out of it, and store them for next year. But eggplant, number 2 on the list, beautiful. Number 3 on the list was just behind the eggplants, but I've already harvested them and pulled the plants out, is cucumbers, or in this case, pickling cucumbers. So I love pickling cucumbers, as probably you very well know. Plenty of videos in there. I love the sweet and vinegar pickles. I love the lacto-fermented pickles. They're quite versatile too. You plant them just as the soil starts to warm up. They fruit abundantly, but in the middle of the summer when it gets really hot, the plants will get to the end of their life and they start to wilt off and die off. So if you look after them in the early of the summer, they'll get so many fruits out of them, and then the plants start to die off. As the cucumbers get big and yellow, that's when you pull them off, cut them open, scrape all the seeds out of them, let them dry, and then you've got plenty of seeds for the next season as well. So cucumbers, or in this case pickling cucumbers, are one of my absolute favorites. So easy to grow, so easy to make so many things out of them and preserve them. Lacto-fermenting is one of my favorites. Kids enjoy them and very easy to be self-sufficient. So definitely add that on the list. Number 3, cucumbers, or pickling cucumbers. Number 4 on the list is, almost hurts me to talk about it because I've done such a poor job this year of growing it, but it is, of course, the sweet potato. It is extremely versatile, extremely easy to grow, and loves the summer heat. I've posted a video or 2 about growing the sweet potato slips. All you need to do is grate a sweet potato, half submerge it in water, And then as it starts to grow the big long slips out of it, you cut them off and plant them in the ground. Now I planted a lot of them straight into the garden, into the ground, and it was a little bit too much for it. And so a lot of them died off, but I had 3 of them that grew perfectly. And then the chooks got in 3 days in a row, ripped them out every day, 3 days in a row. Don't ask me how. So these sweet potatoes are a little bit miserable looking, but they are nonetheless very easy to grow. As I've showed you with the slips, they are so tasty. And every time that plant grows and grows a little leaf node, it also a little root nodes grows in the same spot. So if you bury it, a new root system will grow and a new tuber will grow from that root nodule. So they're extremely easy to grow, very versatile. We love eating them. Everyone loves eating them. So definitely has to make the list. It's just a bit upsetting that I didn't do a very good job this year. So add it to your garden and you can do better than what I did. Now, as you can see, number 5 on the list is the iconic summer vegetable, summer fruit, the tomato. Now, I've posted a bunch of videos on the tomato already, and as you can see, there are still so many. I've harvested big bunches of tomatoes no less than a dozen times, and we've made soups, sauces, passadas, we've had them in salads, we've given them to people, and they just keep on growing. So tomato has to go on your list for the summer vegetables to grow. They are so easy. They pop up everywhere like weeds here. I've got some growing behind the shed, and I've never even been behind the shed. So they grow everywhere. They're almost like a weed. They are a little bit prone to pests, especially here. I get fruit fly, I also get little stink bugs and other things like that. You can choose tomatoes that are a little less prone to insects. So I find that these little cherry tomatoes don't really get bitten at all. The truss tomatoes get bitten a little bit, and the big beefsteaks tomatoes get bitten a lot more than that. So I have a couple of times sprayed with insecticide. As one of my subscribers so thoughtfully put down in the comments, you can put garlic mixed with other herbs and water with a little bit of detergent and use that as a natural deterrent for insects as well. So tomatoes are so easy to grow, so easy to prepare into a multitude of foods, and easy to get the seeds out of, dry them, store them, and to be self-sufficient and grow them in the next year. So tomatoes, iconic, had to be on the list, number 5. So as you can see from the monster before you, the final, the last but definitely not least vegetable on the list is the pumpkin. Now, I've obviously let this go to a bit far. It's growing over 3 beds, including the sweet potato bed, which is no good. But if you take control of it, that's probably one of the caveats I do have to add for this last vegetable, is that it takes a lot of space. If you do keep trimming it back, you're obviously taking away a lot of the potential for it to grow the pumpkins. You can see out here that the pumpkins are growing out in the outer shoots, and in there's only probably 3 or 4. So if you have a lot of space, pumpkin for sure. But if not, probably not the choice for you. I like to grow it. I'm probably going to move it down further away from my yard and from the veggie garden, just so I can utilize more space and get more pumpkins out of it. But my family love to eat it. It's so versatile. You put it in soups, roasts, or anything like that. And it's so incredibly easy to save the seeds as well. Once you're finished, or once you chop it open, grab the seeds out of it, dry it for a little bit, and then they're ready to go next year. So here, I don't get a lot of pests for these either. I've got Kent pumpkins and Queensland blues in here at the moment, but I also do the butternuts. I don't get pests for these, but I do know up in Queensland you can get like little wasps that sting them and stop them from growing. So yeah, pumpkins, if you look after it and don't let it get too out of control like this is, they are definitely have to go on your list. They're so hardy, they're so easy to grow, and everybody loves them. So pumpkin, number 6 on the list, the final one. I do have to add an honourable mention to the garden, and one that I absolutely love. It would have to be the chili and or capsicum. I've got both of them in there at the moment, but the chilies, absolutely love the hot weather. They grow perfectly, and there's so many varieties of chilies, whether you want mild or really hot, and they're so versatile. So they tick all of the boxes that I want in the garden, but I want to settle on the 6 that'll feed your family the most. So those 6 vegetables are the greatest to put in your garden over the summer, but chilies is also great to put in your garden as well. So there you have it. They are my 6 top vegetables that I have to plant in the summertime to feed my family with the lowest cost, the easiest effort, and the most abundance of vegetables that I get out of it. What did you think about that list? Do you have something that you would like to add to that list? If you did, add it down below. Everyone is going to be different because different areas and different locations have different pests and different temperatures. But those vegetables, if you plant them in your garden over the summer periods, you'll get a hell of a lot of vegetables and a hell of a lot of enjoyment out of growing those vegetables. So get down there, like and subscribe. And thanks for joining me on this episode where we explored the best vegetables to grow in summer. See you next time.